It's one down and one more to go for city officials in a dispute involving downtown LA's historic Olvera Street. The city has partially resolved a rent issue now with the merchants.
Now it's undergoing what can be difficult negotiations with the historic church there. KCAL 9's Randy Page explains why parishioners are worried about the fate of their church.
A march on City Hall this morning to save a historic church located across the street from Union Station on Olvera Street, the birthplace of the City of Angels.
This is a holy place. This is a place that for almost 100 years have helped people that were hungry, that needed a job, that needed clothing, and they continue to do this to this day.
Church leaders say they were locked out of the church by the city agency which manages the historic 44 acres that make up Olvera Street and its historic surroundings.
We have to get permission to get into the church.
Lenora Barron, who represents the church's interests, says the city expects the church to pay $3,000 for every church event, including baptisms, a cost so exorbitant that La Plaza United Methodist Church would have to close its doors after serving this community for more than 100 years. City Council member Jose Huizar today introduced a motion which passed unanimously that will give church leaders the keys to the church temporarily for 5 days while a permanent agreement is reached.
How do you find that balance between the financial needs of the city and the spiritual needs of this church? Since up until 2006, they were paying $1 a year, I believe. Maybe a little more than that, but it shouldn't be $3,000 per baptism.
But the man who heads the agency that manages this historic area says it was all a misunderstanding. That the city took over the keys for safety reasons during an ongoing construction project and asked for $3,000 baptisms. He says that was never the city's intent. So to be clear, you would not expect them to pay you $3,000 for every baptism?
That is correct.
Today, the church doors are open and both sides say they're committed to make sure they stay that way. In downtown Los Angeles, Randy Page, KCAL 9 News.
Coming up next, some strategies